Well, good morning or good evening to you, depending on where you're joining us from around the world. Today, we're excited to share our presentation on BASIS International School Nanjing. Today, we'll be hearing from a number of individuals from the school, sharing their experiences that they've had at the school at Nanjing. I'm really excited to hear from our panelists here today. So joining us will be Jamie Davis, who is the head of school at BASIS International School Nanjing. We'll also hear from Will Jarrett, Helen Yang, Hollee Torrence, Emma Gao, and I'll be sharing some insights about our network. I'm Tim Smith. I'm the Vice President of Global Talent for BASIS International Schools. And we'll also be joined by my colleague, Michael Holtquist, who's the international recruiter that works specifically with BASIS International School Nanjing. In terms of what we'll be covering, obviously, the focus will be on the school, insights about the school, what is interesting, the experience of individuals that have been there. We'll also be touching on some aspects of our network of BASIS International Schools. And then lastly, we'll also be covering some of the details about what's important to know in considering a career opportunity with us. We'll talk about the benefits, we'll talk about the Expat Package, we'll touch on some visa requirements. And then at the end, we'll be covering questions that you might have. So if you have any questions along the way throughout the presentation, use the Q&A button. So down in the bottom in the menu, there's a Q&A button. Use the Q&A to type in your message, and we'll answer all questions as we wrap up the main details of the presentation. So I'm really excited to share the introduction to our school in Nanjing. It's my honor to be able to introduce Jamie Davis. So Jamie Davis is the head of school at BASIS International School Nanjing, and I've known Jamie since we first chatted as he was considering an opportunity with us. And Jamie, it's great to be able to have you join us today and share some insights about your school. Any insights to share as you're one of the key founding leaders there at the school, and really excited to hear what you have to share with us today.
Well, thank you, Tim. It's actually quite an honor to be in Nanjing. Nanjing is one of our 8 schools in the network, and I've had the actual opportunity to play a part in most of our schools. I've held a network role at one point or another, and I can safely say that this is, in my not so humble opinion, this is the best school that exists in our network. It is a community unlike any other, and it's one of the reasons I'm happy to share the webinar stage with members of our incredible team. BASIS International School Nanjing was founded in 2019. I'm actually sitting here with 2 other people that are members of our founding team. We have one of the largest kind of founding teams that still exists in our schools, and it's based on the fact that we're really proud of who we are and how we do things. The running reputation about Nanjing when people like Tim and Michael visit our campus is that the community is apparent. People understand that this is a place teachers, leadership, parents, and students actually enjoy going to school. That's an interestingly awful thing to say, but at the same time, it's a great place to exist when you're on a Friday at 5 o'clock and classes have been over for an hour and a half and you're still pushing students off the campus. Last week was Halloween, and we had 560 parents and students on the campus, and at 6:30 at night, we were still trying to get them to go home. People do view this as a home. And when you jump into the international teaching world, it's important to recognize that this really does become your home. And I've been in Nanjing now for 5 years. My wife is a part of this team, and I'm planning on being here for a long time because I think this is a really great place to be. BASIS Nanjing had our first graduating class in 2023. We graduated out an incredible group of students. I actually put that data right on the screen, that 100% of our graduates this past year went to top 40 US ranked schools. That's an incredible number. But at the same time, it's only a portion of what we do. When you look at this screen, you see the people that are a part of this. And that's the part that makes me not only bought in and feeling like this is a place I want to exist, that this is something that's really rather special. When you walk on this campus, you have teachers that really care about what's going on. And I'm not going to speak to that. I've brought people here to tell you that themselves. When you look at our structure, when you look at our day, and for me, actually, when I look at what our teachers and our team and our parents and our students get frustrated about, it's about being part of something. The word belonging is something that's really important in a school community. When you have students that will go into, my head of school office and sit down with me and be in tears about anxieties about a test, or worried about marks coming up, or a relationship issue, if you can imagine, in a middle school and high school, that tells you that people actually think the person they're speaking to cares. So I take that as a compliment. And I know that when I sit with the people in the room with me today, that these are people that actually genuinely care about the people they work with and the people they work for. This past week, I've been through 5 parent coffee mornings where I've had a 2-hour session with each of our division parent groups. And they're often surprised when I try and show them a bit of empathy towards the anxiety that they have. And when we talk about our team, when we talk about the various aspects of being a Nanjing Nighthawk, it's about being part of this community. Everything we do in the classroom, everything we do as leadership is about impacting learning. Earlier I said that I've had the opportunity to visit all of our campuses in various lenses. And I know that what happens in our classes is, and apologies to my BASIS colleagues in other schools, but we do it better than everybody else. And I've got giggles around the room, but this is not the first time I've said that. I want us to be a place where teachers want to go, not because of the results. We get great results, not because of the ability or opportunity to teach an AP class. But I want people to come here because they feel like this is a place I want to work. When you go international and you become part of an international faculty, that becomes a lot of your existence. And Will and Hollee and Emma and Helen will talk to you more about, what that existence looks like from their lens. But this is really your life when you're overseas. We have teachers, and some of them in the room with me are the types of people that on a Thursday evening, I'm trying to kick off the campus themselves because they're fully invested in what goes on here. And they're not mandated to do that. This is just full investment in what's going on. The people that are here are characters. They really are. They're people that bring their livelihood. They bring their families. But at the same time, when you talk about, 3 of us in the room have stayed for 5 years, and I don't think any of us are going anywhere. That's a statement about a school. When you can start to retain people that are really good people, that actually allows us to do things that are incredible. So some of the aspects of the school, we're a pre-K to grade 12 school. We have 11 school buildings on this campus. We're sitting in the high school building right now. Out this window behind my shoulders, you can look out over our campus, and it is an incredible green space. It actually has a very academic feel when you go out into the campus because all of the buildings are separated. The picture at the bottom center kind of gives you a little bit of an interesting look from above, from a drone, as to what it looks like from up above. But when you're down in the campus, right now the temperature this morning was about 10 degrees Celsius. Apologies to my American colleagues. I'm Canadian, so I'm a little more. I could almost say I'm a little more literate with the metric system, but at the same time, it's cold. And the great thing about this is that on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, when you finish teaching a class or you've had a meeting, you can go outside and you can stand outside under our covered walkways and sit on a bench and watch the world go by. And it has an interesting aspect to it in that you don't have to exist in a classroom in a hallway and feel like you're kind of in one corner. There's so much going on. And if you want to get a little extra energy, you can wander down to the early years building and see things going on the rocket, or go into the MPR and watch a PE class going on. We have teachers that come in the morning, and you can see our pool up in the top left corner that'll be swimming laps or exercising in the fitness room for the staff. It's really an interesting dynamic because of the fact we have so much space. We have an incredible outdoor sports facility. You can see a little corner of it down on the bottom right. But we have really quite interesting facilities in that there really is not too many teachers that are sharing a lot of space. There is ample lab space to do physics labs and chemistry labs. We have dedicated labs both for the middle school and the high school. But honestly, facility is just the accent piece to what goes on. Our students are really driven. At the same time, they're in an English language learning environment. Our student population are learning in a second language. So when we look at what we do and how we do it, and you know, 2 of our SETs in the room, 1 of our LETs in the room, we don't just sit in front of a textbook. Recently listened to somebody on an interview actually talk to me about their past, where they were very excited that they had created a textbook. And one of the questions I often get in interviews is, oh, well, you know, what textbooks do you use? And my answer is always that the resource material we use should be best for the students in the room at the time you're teaching them. So I purposely put one of these photos in. It's a selfish photo. In the center of the screen, you've got 2 people in my grade 6 physics class from 3 years ago, where I decided it was more important for them to experience Newtonian physics rather than just simply show them a Newton's cradle with the little silver balls that go back and forth. And we actually had our teachers involved in this. And one of the things I found out about our teachers, and Will sitting to my left, is that I gave teachers the opportunity to help us understand collision theory and what happens when an object at rest is no longer at rest. And I realized that some of our teachers are quite enthusiastic about the opportunity of sitting in a 2-meter sized ball and getting an opportunity to maybe knock our students for a little bit of a roll. But when you look at these pictures, what you're seeing is learning going on. We have desks and we have chairs and tables, and we have wonderful technology with smart boards. And but at the same time, very rarely do you walk into a class outside of maybe a math test on a Tuesday where you see students sitting in rows and a teacher standing at the front of the room. Our team's going to talk a little bit about these acronyms that inevitably show up in every portion of education. We talk about SETs and LETs, and we talk about co-teaching, but we really do put our money where our mouth is when it comes to educating. It's important that when people come here, that they're ready to be a part of something, that they're ready to be invested in these students. We're having an open day on Saturday where our potential parents are going to come through the door. And our parents are often driven by academic rigor and the idea of getting towards those college acceptances. But I've been in education now for 30 years. I know in my heart and I know in my being that good results come from good teaching, and good teaching happens from good people. I safely will champion my team at all costs. I will put my team's capacities and my team's passions and my team's anxieties on the line for anybody. I know that when I walk into a class here on this campus, that people know who I am and that I'm not coming in to do anything but try and see things from their side of it. And I know that I want our leadership to be supportive and agile. And we had a session a week ago where we asked our teachers to talk to us about what they perceived the current set of circumstances to be. What do they want to see done better? And one of the interesting things I saw, because our network's known for doing a lot of observations, we're in the classes. And one of the things I saw was that the number of observations was something that was interesting to them. And for me, the leadership needs to be agile within this as well. And one of the things that I bring to the table is that I want our leadership to be supportive of not only the student results and the parent desires, but that the teachers feel supported as well. So whether these people want to speak to it in a way that's different or not, when I look at slides like just popped on the screen, Dr. Chatta, who is lighting off a piece of sodium for our students to see the reactivity of something. When I look at Teacher Appreciation Day and I look at our Chinese staff getting the opportunity to get flowers from a former colleague of mine, When I look at, group photos, it becomes cliche that we see teachers or we see us as simply a faculty, but we depend on each other. Hollee and Will will talk more about that, but at the same time, I'm very confident that when somebody on this campus feels anxious or feels like they need support, that it's not one person that they need to rely on. And when I look at what, Emma's going to talk about in our HR onboarding process, this is not just us saying, fill out a form and we'll see you when you arrive. Our intent is to make sure that the process of you coming and becoming a part of our team is actually a process, and it's a long process so that you feel comfortable. I will champion our cause over and over again. And when we had our International Music Festival 2 weeks ago, I finished by saying, I'll look you in the eye. I have no crossed fingers. I say that our teaching is the best in the network. And because our results are the best in the country, that says something about the faculty that you might join if you were to come and join us in Nanjing. I want us to feel like we're doing things better than everybody else. I want us to feel as though we have the opportunity to do it better than others. And you can believe me or not, I can look the part of wearing a jacket and say that I'm a politician for this school, but I will be a champion of this school. And I know that these people are champions of their classes and their students. And at the same time, in talking to parents this week, I know that they feel like we're championing their cause. I think it's a really great place to be. And when I get you to hear from our champions of student learning, I think you'll see the same kinds of things. But at the same time, I kind of awkwardly segue to the next person to talk in a way to say, when you do choose to come and become a teacher in an international school, whether it's your first time or whether you're transitioning to a new school, you need to make sure that that's the right place for you to be. I like to say that I want you to love being who you are while you're here. And if my voice doesn't resonate with you, if Will and Hollee and Helen and Emma's voice doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. But make sure that the place that you go feels like a place where you can fit in, where you feel like you can be supported, where you feel like you can be the educator, the practitioner, the leader of learning, whatever cliche that you like to throw at that enables you to be. Because if you go to a place where you feel like you're going to be constrained in your personality, you're going to be constrained in your practice, then you need to question that that's the right place for you, because you're investing your life here, because we want you to invest your life here. So that's my attempt to awkwardly segue to my colleague to my left. Will Jarrett has been here since 2019, and I know that the other people in the room know that Will brings a bit of Will is Will. And I'm going to let Will talk about that. So I'm going to move this camera across. So,
hi, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Will. It's Friday here, and it's a dress down day. Monday through Thursday, I try to look professional, and I wear a shirt and tie, nice trousers. I do wear red shoes. I'll talk about this in a minute, but yes, I am wearing a cape. These are red Mardi Gras beads, and this is a gift from a student. I'll address this in a second. Thank you for joining us today. I'd like to talk about several of the things that Jamie pointed out. I'm happy to be a part of the BASIS network, but my loyalty and my heart is here in Nanjing. I really enjoy this school. I enjoy this city. And I enjoy my colleagues here. Yeah, I got to do this. When Jamie said, would you join our webinar? And I said, when is it? He said, Friday. Well, Friday, I'm going to be wearing this. Can I wear this? He's like, yeah, go for it. So here we are. One of the points that Jamie made in the very beginning of his talk was about the community that we have here. I feel that we have our BASIS Nanjing community. We have our students and teachers and parents, but we also our family of our operations and administration, our cooks, our cleaners, and our guards. They're all part of our greater Nanjing family. What I'm representing here is Fall House, like the British public school system, or more famously from Harry Potter. We have a house system here at BASIS. We are after the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And so this is a way that we build an even tighter community within our larger family. I love it when I see my high school and middle school fall house students going down and giving a little fist bump or a high five to a primary school fall house student. Makes the little kids feel important, and it gives a sense of pride in the house, and it gives a sense of pride in the family, it gives a sense of pride in our house as well as the larger school community. There are house competitions, there are school events that are geared towards house competitions, and we have a house cup. We are the latest reigning champions. We have won 5 times. We are the winningest house. So yeah, very proud of the house, obviously. But more importantly, being a founding faculty member, it was a very unique and special opportunity, because the teachers got to lay the foundation of the culture of this school. And so back in the in the summer, July and August of 2019, we had a lot of meetings about what do we want our school to look like? What do we want students to, what experience do we want our students to have here? Not just academically, but socially and part of this family and community. And we wanted to we came up with 6 character values: hard work, courage, kindness, respect, responsibility, and integrity. And these are our school values. And when we see students exhibiting these traits, these character traits, we will reward with house points. And we're after trying to build the whole child here with academic rigor and being a part of a family and our social community, as well as we're building leaders, and we want to prepare our students for an ever-changing world. And I think that we're doing that well here in Nanjing. I can speak to Nanjing. This is a fabulous city. It has a rich history. It is a former capital. And it is, it's not overwhelmingly enormous like most Chinese cities. Shanghai is 2.5 hours down the road by train. Beijing is an hour and a half by plane. Guangzhou and Shenzhen are down south. And again, these are massive cities. Nanjing is only about 8-9 million, which is size of New York City. But that's kind of a small city here. We're on China scale, right? But I came up here from Hong Kong, which is about the same size population as Nanjing, but it's just much more crowded and dense. So where our campus is and where we live, most of our faculty and staff live, we're on the northeast side of town. It's much quieter. The access to the city is only 30-40 minutes away by either metro or hire car taxi. It's a great city. You can get anything you could possibly want or need, you can get here. If you need some Disneyland, then go to Shanghai. Or to Hong Kong. They're just 2-hour train ride or 2-hour flight away. But the city is, I remember being in the van with my colleagues when we first got here in July of 2019. We were driving around the city and all of us were looking out the windows. We couldn't believe how well landscaped this city is. There's green everywhere. The medians on the roads, we've got massive, beautiful trees downtown, which are hundreds of years old. And it is an elegant looking city, if I may say. It's not overwhelmed with huge skyscrapers, but it's very well landscaped and it's beautiful. It's remarkable. And we're fortunate to have, yes, we all were joking about it being a little bit cold today, but we do have 4 seasons. And for me, coming from Hong Kong, where it's just hot and hotter all year round, having 4 seasons is quite nice again. But as I say, it has a rich history. This is where, back in the day, during the dynastic era, this is where people who wanted to be civil servants came to take these excruciatingly painful exams to be part of the civil servant apparatus of the emperor. So that's here. You can go to that museum here. So as I say, it's a great city to live in, and it's really easy to get around and easy to navigate. And where we are in the relation to the city, it's quiet, I bike to school each and every day, rain or shine, cold or hot, and it only takes me 10 or 12 minutes, so super easy. As I mentioned earlier, being a founding teacher has been a significant experience for me, and I jumped at the chance to have this opportunity because these opportunities don't come along very often. And as you can see here, we've got students and teachers and staff. In the top center there, that's my class, that's my history class. Students are studying the ancient Western world. In the lower left there, that student is named Joy. And I picked her picture to put in here because Joy is the quintessential BASIS Nanjing student. She came here with very little English, and she has worked her tail off, and she has put the time and effort in, and her name matches her personality perfectly. She's always coming to school with a smile. Unfortunately, she's moved to Australia, but she's coming back, and I can't wait to have her. She's also a Fall House captain, so it's really, really important to me. But she's an example of a student who comes here and works so hard and rises to the level of her classmates. And I couldn't be more proud of her. You can see just above the founding teacher experience, that is a very special, unique project that me and my colleague, Kevin Poner, in the social studies program have put together. Those students are in their fine formal school uniforms. Kevin and I have put together a wartime atrocities project. Unfortunately, Nanjing bore the brunt of the Japanese invasion in 1937. Perhaps you're familiar with the title of the book, The Rape of Nanking. That awful event happened here. And so in the summer of 2020, Mr. Poner and I put together this very special experiential learning project where we teach students about the Nanjing massacre. And then we take students to Japan, to Nagasaki, and to Hiroshima. And then we also take students to Germany to study the Holocaust in Dachau, Munich, Nuremberg. And we also visit Amsterdam to the Anne Frank House. So this is a special project that we have that's unique to Nanjing. And again, it shows the collaboration that we have with my colleagues here. And those students in that picture are our elite students. Those are 9th and 10th graders in that picture who earned 4s and 5s on AP scores. They are incredibly intelligent, and they are incredibly emotionally aware. And Kevin and I are very proud of this project. It's meant a lot to us, and it's one thing that stands Nanjing BASIS head and shoulders above the other groups in network. No one else has come up with anything close to this. And as you see, you see a lot of collaboration. Those lower pictures down there, students are collaborating. That's how most of our classes look. You see as a teacher walking into a classroom, you'll see students gathered around an activity or gathered around work, using English to solve problems and get through the work that they need to get done. So I think that's done for me. I will pass off to Helen. Yes, all right. Thank you very much for your time. Here's Helen.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. And I am Helen Yang. I joined BASIS Nanjing 4 years ago, working as a early years LET and primary LET in August from this year. So next slide will be, I am busy with early years children. Yeah, I'm introducing the tree skin with them. They're cute. They're 4 years old. So as one of the founding team members, I'd like to share some of my experiences in BASIS Nanjing. LET is a unique role in all BASIS schools in China, which is a short name of Learning Enhancement Teacher. So you may now have an idea about this role. It means to help students to further improve themselves. And also co-teaching is a unique teaching mode in BASIS. So how subject teachers and LET work together. From my experiences, LET and subject teachers need to share the responsibilities to manage the class and the students, including teaching plan, classroom layout, and the students' behavior discipline. So I really enjoy co-teaching time in my humanities and math class now, because I can share the stage with my coworker. And when we do different learning stations, we can use different teaching strategies based on students' levels. So welcome to BASIS Nanjing, and I hope to see you in campus very soon. I think next will be our Miss Torrence.
Hello, I am an SET teacher here at BASIS Nanjing. And just to add to what Ms. Helen said, we do co-teach, and it's a unique thing within our classrooms because we do parallel teaching, for example, where our classes can be split in half, and the SET will take half the class and we're teaching the same thing, but this gives us the opportunity to work in a smaller, work with a smaller group. And so we have large enough classrooms where we can divide into different groups and teach different groups of students at different times. We also have space outside the classroom inside of our building. And then we also, when the weather, of course, is nicer, we go outside and we have teaching experiences outside as well. Some of the things that I enjoy most is the flexibility of working with our LETs. We're able to do our small groups. Even within our curriculum is created by BASIS. And so with our curriculum, I love the way that we have different supports. So I'm also a math and science chair for the primary math team. And so with that, I support teachers with different things within the curriculum, and even going beyond that part for our resources, we have CADs. And so those CADs, they actually support based on the subject and the grade level. And so even if you come in, you will have that support. You're not just creating things from the beginning and trying to figure out, okay, what do I teach? You have that support on different levels to help you with creating lesson plans and providing different resources that you will need throughout the school year. And so that's a really great thing to have, because as a new teacher last year, I had to teach 2 different subject areas. And so just being provided with different teachers to assist me was very, very helpful. And so when you choose BASIS Nanjing, you will definitely get that support. You get support from the beginning and on continuous support. I came here with my family. And so through that process, I had support. They are very detailed in the things that you need. They continuously reach out to you, make sure that you have everything, and even the process of getting here. Once we got here, it was continued support. It wasn't, oh, you made it, now that you're here, you're on your own. So the support here, even as a teacher with a family, is such a wonderful thing, because even outside of school, we have what is called WeChat groups. And so even within that WeChat group, the different families here at BASIS Nanjing, we get together outside of school hours. We have a group called BASIS Taekwondo, where our kids every Wednesday, they go to Taekwondo together. We meet up at parks. We go to dinner together. And so even if you're coming with a family, you still have a community within the community. So, and we meet wonderful families outside of BASIS as well. And so through our friends and through our group, because some have been here longer than others. And so from the family aspect, it is a great place to bring your family. They have they have activities after school that they can get involved in. My daughter, she does soccer. One of my daughters, she's in 2nd grade, and then she does soccer and golf. And then I have another daughter in kindergarten that does soccer. And so there are just so many different things for the students, for your children to do here at BASIS Nanjing. So again, I will highly suggest it because the family, the community, the support they're big here. And I don't think you will have a moment where you're just feeling homesick due to not having enough support. Okay, and that now is Emma.
Thank you, Holly. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome today. And I am Emma. I'm the HR from the admin department at BASIS Nanjing. So one of my main work is that I help teachers with their settling in this new city. Our admin team, we appreciate that our teachers moving across the country to settle and to help build our community. So we don't want we don't want here to just be their workplace. We want here to be their home. So we want to make sure that we do everything that we can to help make this transition as smooth and as easy as possible for our new teachers. First, we will make sure that our teachers are legal residents in China. So we will help with their visa application. The process usually starts after the interview in the recruiting process. So I will have a HR conversation with the candidates to evaluate their visa application. And once the teachers accept the offer and sign a contract, they are one of us. And I will help them step by step and tell them what our next steps will be, what documents you need to prepare and where can you find them, and like where should you go or which website you should go for help. We don't just tell them that, okay, this is what you need to do to apply for a visa and I'll leave that to you. We will make sure that this won't be as new as they will face. And after they get their visa, we will help them find the most decent flight and to make sure that their flight from overseas to China won't be that difficult or it won't be that late hours. We will do that as much as we can, and we will arrange pickup at the airport. So we will make sure that the teachers and their families, they won't be alone along the way, and we will accompany them to their apartment, which is always provided by the school, or they are welcome to choose their own housing and can get it reimbursed after they come to school. And regarding the housing, the school provided housing are usually located around the school. They're about 5 to 10 minutes drive distance from the school. And we also arrange the school shuttle bus to go around these places to make sure that their transport to and before and after school will be as convenient as possible. These houses will be prepared by our colleagues in admin team, and we will make sure that the furniture and the decorations inside are decent and clean. And we will prepare, as shown in the picture, we will prepare a welcome package before the teachers are coming, so that the first time they enter their new home, they will feel as welcome. They will feel much welcomed as they have come to a new home. So, and also besides that, after they settle in their new houses, we will help them setting up their banking and get their new Chinese SIM cards and set up the necessary apps that are most commonly used in China that could help their lives to be as convenient as possible. And also apply for their residence permit, and we arrange shopping and ensure you're comfortable and set up for success. So, and along the way, we will have perception survey to make sure that your feedback is important to us, and it will help us to improve our service as well. I joined BASIS last year. Actually, Holly was one of the teachers, new teachers that I went to greet. So I have been through the whole process, and I can say that our admin team, we work our best to help new teachers to feel that Nanjing and BASIS is your new home, and it's a great community for you to settle in. And that's it from my part. I will leave the rest of the part to.
Just say something real quick.
Okay.
Everything that Emma just said is absolutely yay. I went through this process. Thank you, Emma.
And she was great.
You guys.
And I'll put in my 2 bits, Tim, in that I keep saying it and I'm going to keep saying it. So our admin team is like shoulders above everybody else's. We have the most invested, the most motivated. And again, I don't hide it. I want our people to talk for themselves. And you can see that this, you know, Emma will always go above and beyond. You know, these are people that at the end of the day, I'm trying to get off the campus. I need them to go home and have a life beyond what goes on in the school. But that's the type of investment we get.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, when I was visiting your campus just earlier this year, I can also say that Emma took great care of me and my team as well as we were visiting the campus. So Emma, thank you for all you do. It's you know, one of the things. One of the things is as I have conversations with teachers, one of the things that always comes up when I ask about the experience and you know, what's working, what's gone well, you know, what's the feedback. One of the first things they talk about is the support that they've had from the HR and operations team to get everything taken care of, and they're very well cared for. So I can definitely echo that. And you know, one thing that really stood out is, you know, last year was just your first graduating class, and to have 100% of your students accepted to top 40 programs. I mean, that is something that is exceptional. So it's a pretty high bar to maintain, I'm sure. But I think it really speaks to both the preparation of the students and the work that the teachers have put in. So, you know, kudos to you for that. And you know, I just, you know, I love Nanjing. I love the tree-lined streets that you have. It's, you know, deep and rich in history, and I've just loved every time I've visited. So great place that you guys get to be. I guess to be my opportunity to speak a little bit further about some of the things from a little bit, you know, broader perspective, including Nanjing, but also with the BASIS International Schools as a whole, as a network. So BASIS International School is in Nanjing is part of the BASIS Curriculum Schools network. So as a network, we have 13 international and bilingual schools, which includes 2 new schools that are opening up this next year. You can see the campuses that we have in China. As part of the network, we also have 6 independent schools in the United States. So the organization does share the curriculum. So the BASIS curriculum is our own developed curriculum. It's really focused on the overall classroom experience that students have, where it's a culture of intellectual curiosity that is really stimulated and cultivated and developed. It's a curriculum that has been collaboratively developed for the last 26 years. It's something that is living. We always continue to look for ways we can enhance what we're doing. We ask ourselves, you know, how can we help our students learn even more? And we continue to add and build to it. In terms of what that means, it is an accelerated curriculum. It is something that is rigorous. It will typically be something that is maybe a year ahead of what is considered standard in many cases. So that includes AP courses in the high school grades. We're not just an AP type of a curriculum, but we go beyond AP classes. We have post-AP courses, we have capstone courses for those that are in grade 12. In the middle school grades, it's a liberal arts curriculum. So they're really delving deeper into aspects of the sciences. We have actually our social science program is probably one of the best in the world. The students do go deep into multiple areas. They'll take multiple AP courses in the social sciences. I think the primary model, the co-teaching model, where we have subject teachers, what you see as the SET, a kind of a subject expert teacher, and then that learning enhancement teacher, the SET, LAT collaboration is something that's unique in the co-teaching that we do have in the primary grades to really address and meet the individualized student needs, as well as providing deep and rich and interesting lessons for each subject across all subjects for the students to really engage. And then it's a play-based learning environment in our early childhood education, ECE division for the younger students, but it's all, you know, built and scaffolded to where students are really capable of exceptional things. And you can kind of see those results. Something else that stands out that's very unique about our network is that for our schools in China, Berkeley Global has partnered with our schools and selected the BASIS International Schools in China to share courses. So our students as our schools continue to mature, we do implement the Berkeley program to where students are actually taking Berkeley credited courses. UC Berkeley is one of the top educational institutions at a university level around the world, and the partnership is something we're very proud of. They selected us based on the innovation and high level of academics that they really cultivate as a university. They saw very similar things that we do on a K-12 basis and partnered with us. So it's something that we're really excited to have as part of the partnership. In terms of what that means for results, you heard the specific results of Nanjing and their first graduating class this last year. But as a network across all of our schools, we have over 90% of our students are accepted to top 50 universities. And then we also have over 60% that are accepted to top 30 universities. And so the outcomes of the students have been phenomenal in that they're typically able to get accepted and attend universities of their top choice. So it includes universities like Boston, Cornell, Duke, Imperial College of London, MIT, Rice, Chicago, Oxford, University of Toronto in Canada. And not only do we have great academic institutions, but students are also participating and attending top arts colleges and programs around the world, including Rhode Island School of Design. We'll add that acceptances this last year included students going to Harvard and Princeton, as well as University of Pennsylvania. Some more Ivy League acceptances that we did have this last year. All right, so in terms of what that means in considering an opportunity with BASIS International Schools, why teach with BASIS International Schools? I'm going to bring my colleague, Michael Holtquist, in to share a little bit more detail and insight on some of what that means. Mike, we'll turn it to you.
Tim, thank you very much. And Jamie, everybody there in Nanjing, thank you very much as well. And as you guys have seen through this webinar, I think what makes BASIS, it's the people. The people are the driving factor of what makes BASIS Nanjing such an amazing place to be at. And it's that collaborative learning environment that they've fostered and that BASIS here really promotes and really develops is how do we work together to continue to work with other amazing teachers from all across the world to improve our craft as teachers, improve what we can do for the students. And through this collaboration, through this working with each other, we've really been able to develop that academic culture that does have those very high expectations. And it's not just that the expectations are high, it's, as you've seen, the students can meet those expectations, but they can meet it through the teachers and through what the teachers can really do to help their students really achieve up to their highest potential and up to what they really are aiming to do. As well as BASIS, we are a network. We've got a number of schools there in China. We've been around for a number of years. And as we continue to grow, just that reputation for academic excellence and student success continues to foster and continues to improve as well. And what that means for you as a teacher is there's opportunities to grow and opportunities to develop. As we continue to open new schools, our existing schools continue to expand. It's just the opportunities that teachers can create for themselves really are incredible. But as well as at the end of the day, it's the students. The BASIS students are some of the most special students I've ever seen. It's the students that are coming to us are looking for this high academic career, this high expectation. And the effort that they put in is so amazing to see. And really, it's our job as a school and our job as teachers to really allow them to be who they are and continue to develop that curiosity, that desire to learn and achieve that they really do have, and they've really been able to foster here. So I think if we want to move on to the next slide, we can go into the next step here. And that's really about why go to China. So China is extremely modern. Like Will was talking about, Nanjing, it's a very old city. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of ancient culture there, but it's still extremely modern. So the technology is very, very cutting edge. The transportation is second to none, and it's incredibly safe. I think a lot of times we think of large cities as maybe not having the best safety, but our teachers have always let us know it's an extremely safe environment. Their children feel safe. They're going across the city and that type of stuff. And living in China is so convenient. I know every time I go there, the bullet trains are something I always wish that we had here in the United States because it's so easy to get around, so easy to use. Additionally, just in education in China, there's this culture of education and there's this culture of respect for education. And that's really embodied by the students and their families is there's that respect for teaching and there's that respect that students have for a desire to learn and is a desire to kind of foster that curiosity that they have. And China is just, it's a very vibrant culture. It's continuing to grow and develop and expand and being a part to see in that as China's culture continues to thrive. It's just how do we fit into that and how do we embody kind of that growth that we're seeing. And then just logistically as well, the cost of living in China is very, very friendly. BASIS provides an amazing package for our teachers, but that package also combines with a cost of living that's much lower than we experience kind of elsewhere. And so it's allowed our teachers to really kind of really get that kind of that benefit that they're really looking for in this kind of teaching environment. So I think that's kind of about kind of what China's like and that type of thing. And so I think we're kind of ready for that next slide here. And so it kind of gets into with that that package that BASIS provides is kind of what's involved in that. And the first thing is, so in addition to the salary, we do provide you travel benefits. We provide you kind of airfare to China. We have wonderful people like Emma that help you with your visa support. As well as throughout the year, we have that annual return home allowance. So you can travel throughout your time there kind of as a teacher. We provide you housing. And it's fully paid, fully furnished housing, very close to campus. But we also know is some people want to find their own housing. We allow for that. There's a stipend as well. That's an option for teachers that do want to say, hey, I've been here in Nanjing for a while. There's this other neighborhood I really like. I'd like to live there. There's a stipend for that as well. Also provide you global health insurance, and this so you can be kept safe and healthy and continue to see your doctors globally. Provide tuition waiver for up to 2 children, so your children can go to school with you, as well as just the meals of the school. We provide our teachers breakfast and lunch every school day at the school if they want, and they are amazingly good meals there. And every time I visit the schools, I'm always shocked at how good the breakfast and lunch are because it's the equivalent of what you would find at a restaurant most places around the world. And then just for future planning as well, we do provide a retirement benefit. So every year there's a 10% retirement benefit for you to use to invest for yourself in your retirement. There's a completion bonus as well at the end of your assignment. There's a completion bonus just for completing the assignment. It has nothing to do with saying, hey, I'd like to continue on or stay or anything like that. It's just for completing. Ideally, we'd like everyone to stay, but the completion bonus is about kind of just that thanking you for your time that you've put in. As well as there's other additional bonus opportunities that occur based on performance and that type of thing as well. So it's a very robust package with a lot of components. And we do think it provides kind of for teachers very well. It allows for you to be able to teach and be able to kind of still enjoy the benefits you can have kind of financially of this opportunity. So that's kind of a very quick rundown of the benefits package. That provides more information about kind of what BASIS provides financially and monetarily as you go overseas. And so the thing is, what does it take to be a BASIS teacher? And here at BASIS, we do have very, very high standards of what we're looking for with our teachers. And so there are some things that really are necessary for someone to really become a BASIS teacher. The first thing is really for teachers to have a degree in their subject area. Teachers, they really are experts in what they teach. And this degree is, one thing to look for in a degree is not just that they're an expert in what they teach, but it's that they're passionate about what they teach. I still remember my conversation with Will, the first time I met Will, we were talking about classics, and it was very evident that he was so excited to share what he really was passionate about. And that came across so evident just in our early conversations that you can see that this passion for us, this passion for teaching really was going to translate so well to the students that he was going to be working with. And again, there's that collaboration. teachers work better when we're working together. And when we look for teachers that aren't just saying, you know what, I'm okay with collaboration, I'm okay with something else, but people who really actively look for it. Like we mentioned before, there's in elementary, there's that co-teaching model, and that's so important to be able to get that collaboration with your peers and with other experts. And as well as BASIS, we do have very high academic standards, and our students they want to achieve that. So we're looking for teachers that can really help the students to meet these standards. So it's not just here's the standards we're going to hold the students to, but how do we help them get there, and how do we help these students achieve those standards? And to do all of this, I'll be honest, it's not easy. It does take a lot of effort. As our teachers, they do work very hard, and they do put in a lot of effort, a lot of time into their teaching, into their craft. And so I think that's one thing to be aware of, as well as with BASIS, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get the students to really kind of, again, engage with their subject and discover that passion. As well as in order to teach China, we do have to get you a visa. We get all of our teachers what are called Z teaching visas. So make sure all of our teachers are there on the correct visa. And so we do have to make sure all our teachers do meet those visa requirements, make sure we can have everyone in China on the correct visa and teaching effectively. And so it's important to really make sure that we follow that process. And Emma and her team are so good at that, of helping teachers through that, and make sure that we understand what it's going to take for someone to get to China on that correct visa. And so as you look to go overseas, you look to join BASIS Internationals, there are some things that you do want to be aware of. The first you want to be aware of is for our students. For most of our students, English is their second language. And so the students, they are going to be learning in English, but their native language usually isn't English. And so it's how we have to make sure is how do we work with those students? How do we make sure that we can really support them in the best way for them, as they are doing this high academic rigor, this very tough curriculum in a second language. As well as you've probably seen throughout this presentation, is we're always evolving. And what we did 5 years ago is very different than what we do today. And what we do 5 years ago will be very different than what we're doing currently. And it's that flexibility is so important, because we are always looking to improve. And being able to be flexible and try different things and take on new roles is so important, because here at BASIS, we are continually evolving, but our schools are growing as well. And as we grow, there's going to be things we find out that we need to change, we need to do differently. As well as kind of when you go overseas, you always have to consider it's not just, is it right for me? It's, is it right for my whole family? And so we do provide that tuition for two children, so they can go to school with you. But you also want to make sure that they're ready for that BASIS education. I mean, it is difficult. And so you want to make sure it's like, how are my children going to adjust to this? Is this the right fit for them? And so just making sure it's like that's to be ready for your children as well, because we want to make sure it's not just the teachers are happy, the students are happy, but the entire family. And making sure it's the right fit for everybody is so, so critical. And so your children, what they're prepared for, what struggles they're going to have, and just really making sure is this right for them, I think is so, so important. And so that's kind of what it's like. Some of the things you want to be aware of as you look to go overseas, you look to work with BASIS. So I think we're ready for the next slide as well. And so if you want some more insights, we do have a number of ways to connect with us. First off, there's our career site. And on a career site, you'll also find a link to our talent community to be kept up to date on kind of continuing changes, continuing things going on at BASIS, as well as our blog. The blog is an amazing resource to really provide kind of that insight what's like teaching. And our teachers are the ones that drive that blog. They're the ones that are really on there speaking about their experiences and about kind of what's going on for them, as well as just on social media as well. So you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, and just being able to keep abreast of everything that's going on. And so I think I'll pass it back to Tim as we start to go into Q&A. And I think Jamie, you and your team did an amazing job covering everything. We actually didn't have very many questions at all. So I don't think we really have much to go over in Q&A today. So I'm going to pass it back to Tim here.
Well, that's great. Jamie, any other last items that you would like to share with us?
I've always got things to add, Tim, but at the same time, and everybody in the room will laugh because my verbal diarrhea skills are beyond compare. I think that a couple of things you mentioned, you know, when Hollee talked about having her family here, Will talks about being here for a long time. No, I've got a 17-year-old daughter, and when I talk about how safe Nanjing is, we went home to Canada this summer, and we were home for 2 weeks. And I'm from a very small town on the east coast of Canada, where it's really not a town; it's kind of an area where people live. But at the same time, after 2 weeks of being at home, my daughter literally said to us, "I am ready to go home again." And what she meant was Nanjing. As a father of a daughter who's grown and gone to college and is on the verge of finishing, and another one who's in high school and dating, and you look at things through a father's lens, and why you've lost hair is that I'm not worried about my daughter being out till midnight in Nanjing. I would worry about her being out in St. John, New Brunswick until midnight on a Friday, but this is a really cool place. Even the city itself reflects that, and that you know how efficient it is, and you know how great it is. But at the end of the day, I will just bookend what I talked about at the start. This is a really great place. This is a unique place. We are an absolutely different way of going about building a community. Will talked about it from the foundation up. When you go across this campus, you don't feel alone at any point in time. And this is an easy place to get settled in. And I think that that's an exciting thing for anybody that is on the verge of going somewhere different, or going somewhere new, or jumping off the ledge and going into the international teaching field. It is a lifestyle. It is, you become an expat. You have things in your vernacular that you never would have expected to talk about. I describe my children as third culture kids. They have a lens for the world that nobody else can give them. They don't have to rely on the media or somebody else's perspective. You get to live it through your own eyes. And when you look at where we are, I've been here 5 years and I know very little Mandarin, and that's my own fault. But it's the fault of the people next to me. You know, I blame Helen, and I blame Emma, and I blame everybody around me. Nobody needs you to learn the language, in that when your phone can translate everything and every sign's in English, and everybody is capable of giving you the opportunity to settle in, you come into a situation and you have this goal of, after hopefully 5 years, mastering a language. And at the end of it, I can say hello, goodbye, and thank you, and agree with people. That's pretty much what I can do, but I have no issues. So that's my final attempt, Tim. That's who I is.
Really, very, very convenient ease of living there. I can definitely echo that. And I will say that, you know, when I've been to the campus there in Nanjing, it's been a very warm welcome, and you know, people really create a great atmosphere there. I will say I was also adopted into Spring House, so I'll have to. I'm obligated to check for Spring House for the cup. But
Tim, you put protest in the room. Thanks for that. Now I've got to get to the rest of the day, and that's going to be honest. Please, those of you out in the world, we love all of our houses the same. They're all wonderful. They all bring incredible. Anyway, sorry.
Fall us into bed.
We appreciate everybody joining and sharing the insights. It's always great to hear the experience of individuals themselves directly. And so we do appreciate everybody joining, and thank you for your time. So again, if you have anybody that has additional wants to inquire on additional insights, you can find more information about our school in Nanjing, as well as other schools throughout the network. You can find us on social, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook. You can see some of the video that we do have on YouTube or on Instagram. But again, as Mike had mentioned, you know, our blog does have stories from many of our teachers where you can read and hear what they're experiencing being a part of our network, living in China, what's it like to teach within a BASIS school. And you can find out more information about Nanjing specifically there as well. So thank you for joining us today, and we will go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you so much for being with us.